Let us start with a simple truth. Your life today is the result of thousands of decisions. Some big: where to study, who to date, where to live. Some small: what to eat, what to watch, how long to stay on your phone. Individually, many decisions look tiny, but together, they build your health, your relationships, your money, your confidence, your future. So learning how to decide better is one of the most powerful skills you can develop, not just for business or big life moments, but for your everyday peace. Because bad decisions do not hurt only outside. They hurt inside. Regret, confusion. That heavy feeling of, I knew I should have done something different. Today, we are going to talk about how to make better decisions in a way that is calm, practical, and realistic. Not perfect decisions. Nobody has that. But decisions you can respect. We will talk about 1. What usually makes your decisions worse. 2. A simple structure to decide with more clarity. 3. How to decide faster without being impulsive. 4. How to live with your decisions without being tortured by regret. Let us begin. First, what makes your decisions worse? Most bad decisions do not come from lack of information. They come from the state of your mind when you decide. You already know some of these states: tired, hungry, lonely, angry, anxious. When you are exhausted, your brain looks for the easiest option, not the best one. When you are anxious, you see danger everywhere. When you feel lonely, you accept people and situations that are not good for you, just to feel less alone. There are also mental habits that damage your decisions. For example, fear of missing out. You are afraid of choosing one thing because it means you are saying no to all the other possibilities. So you stay in the middle. And that is also a decision. Overthinking. You repeat the same analysis again and again, but you do not move. Trying to please everyone. You choose what makes other people comfortable, even when your own values are ignored. Emotional reaction. You decide in the heat of the moment. You send the message. You quit. You shout. Later, you look back and think, I was not myself. So the first secret of better decisions is not a magic formula. It is learning to notice your state. A very simple rule. Do not make big decisions when your body and mind are in a bad place. When you are extremely tired, extremely angry, or extremely sad, your world becomes smaller. Everything looks urgent. Everything looks dramatic. If possible, sleep first. Breathe first. Eat something decent. Take a short walk, then decide. Now let us move to something practical. Second, a simple structure to decide with more clarity. There are many complex decision models, but you do not need something that belongs in a university. You need something you can actually use in daily life. Think of 4 questions. 1. What do I really want in this area? 2. What are my real options? 3. What are the consequences of each option, short-term and long-term? 4. What does my intuition tell me after I look at the facts? Let us take an example. Imagine you are deciding whether to accept a new job. First question, what do I really want in this area? Maybe you say, I want a job where I can grow my skills, earn enough to live with dignity, and not hate my life every day. Already, this is more clear than just, I want a better job. Second question, what are my real options? You could stay where you are now. You could accept the new job. You could say no and keep searching. Write the options. Third question, What are the consequences of each option, short term and long term? Staying where you are, short term, comfort, familiar faces, same income, long term, maybe slow growth, maybe more frustration, limited learning, accepting the new job, short term, stress of change, new people, learning curve, long term, more experience, possibly better salary, new opportunities, but also risk if the company is unstable. Saying no and continuing the search, short term, uncertainty, more interviews, long term, possibility of something better or of waiting too long and missing this step. When you put these things in front of you, you give your mind a wider view. You are not just thinking, I like this or I do not like this. You are seeing the price and the benefit on different timelines. Fourth question. What does my intuition tell me after I look at the facts? Intuition is not random magic. It is your brain connecting many pieces of information that you cannot fully explain in words. If you only follow intuition without facts, you can be impulsive. If you only follow facts and ignore intuition, you may choose something that looks good on paper but feels deeply wrong. Better decisions use both. You look at the logic, then you check inside. After seeing this clearly, what feels more aligned with the person I want to be? Sometimes you will still feel fear. That is normal. Better decisions do not mean zero fear. They mean you do not let fear be the only voice in the room. Now, third topic, how to decide faster without being impulsive. Some people suffer not because they decide badly, but because they decide slowly about everything. They use the same energy to choose a t-shirt as they would use to choose a house. For better decisions, you need to separate big choices from small choices. Big choices have strong impact on your life for a long time. Small choices are easy to change and do not affect your future in a serious way. For big choices, you use more time, more reflection, more questions. For small choices, you decide quickly and move on. For example, what to eat today is a small choice. If the options are all decent, choose one in 30 seconds. What series to watch, what shirt to wear, what music to listen to. Choose fast. Save your mental energy for decisions that actually matter. When you treat everything like a huge decision, your brain becomes tired, and then, when the truly important decision appears, you are already exhausted. Another technique to decide faster is to set a decision time limit for medium decisions. For example, you are choosing between 2 or 3 products, 2 courses, 2 strategies. Give yourself a clear rule. I will research for 1 day or for 1 hour. Then I will choose and test. Or, I will not spend more than 3 days thinking about this. After that, I act. The idea is simple. You accept that you will never have 100% certainty. You aim for good enough clarity and then you move. There is a beautiful sentence. You cannot steer a parked car. If you are standing still, you can think all day, but you will not learn much. When you move, even with a not perfect decision, you get feedback. You see what works, what does not, and you adjust. Good decision-making is a dance between thinking and doing. Not only thinking, not only doing. Fourth, how to live with your decisions without being tortured by regret. Even with better tools, you will make mistakes. You will sometimes choose the job that was not ideal, the relationship that hurt, the habit that was not healthy. That is part of being human. The problem is not only the mistake, The problem is when you live in the past, replaying the choice again and again. If I had done that, if I had said no, if I had chosen differently. Regret can teach you or it can imprison you. The difference is how you use it. Here is a simple way to relate to your past decisions with more wisdom. Step 1. Acknowledge the pain. Do not pretend it was nothing if it truly hurt you. You can say to yourself, "That decision brought me suffering." It is okay to feel sad or angry about that. Honesty is the beginning of healing. Step 2. Extract the lesson. Ask yourself, what did this experience teach me about myself, about other people, about what I value? Maybe you learned that you ignored red flags. Maybe you saw that you often choose what is comfortable over what is right. Maybe you understood that you need to ask more questions before saying yes. Write the lessons. Because if you do not take the lesson, the pain was just pain. Step 3. Update your decision rules. From each big mistake, you can create 1 or 2 simple rules for future you. For example, next time, I will not say yes to a big commitment on the same day it is offered. Next time, I will not decide about a relationship when I'm lonely. I will ask myself if I would still choose this on a calm day. Next time, I will check the numbers carefully before accepting an offer. These rules turn your past into protection for your future. Step 4. Practice self-forgiveness. Forgiving yourself does not mean saying the decision was correct. It means accepting that the version of you from that time decided with the information, the maturity, and the emotional tools they had. You might say, "At that time, I was less aware, more afraid, more insecure. I made a choice that hurt me, but that does not mean I deserve to suffer forever. I can choose better now." Self-forgiveness is not weakness. It is what allows you to use your energy today to build new decisions, instead of spending it all on punishing old ones. Now let us bring this to a practical exercise you can use this week. Take one decision you are facing right now. It can be small or medium. For example, whether to join a course, whether to start a new habit, whether to say yes to a social invitation. Step 1. Write the decision as a clear question. For example, should I join this English course this month? Step 2. Write what you really want in that area. I want to improve my English so that I can communicate clearly and feel confident in professional situations. Step 3. Write your options. Join the course now. Wait and study alone. Choose a different resource. Step 4. For each option, write the short-term consequences and long-term consequences. Joining now, short-term, money investment, less free time, long-term, more structure, more feedback, faster progress if I commit. Waiting and studying alone. Short-term, no extra cost, more flexibility, long-term. Risk of losing focus, but also freedom to explore. Choosing a different resource. Short-term, time to research. Long-term, maybe better fit or maybe just more delay. Step 5. Read what you wrote and sit quietly for a moment. Ask yourself, which option is most aligned with the person I want to be 6 months from now? Notice what emerges. You may still feel a little doubt, and that is okay. Make the best choice you can with what you know now, and then commit to learning from whatever happens. And remember, better decisions do not always feel comfortable. Sometimes the better decision is to say no even when you are afraid to disappoint someone. Sometimes The better decision is to say yes to a challenge that scares you but will make you grow. Comfort and wisdom are not always friends. To close, keep this in mind. You will never become a perfect decision machine, but you can become someone who takes a pause before big choices, looks at short-term and long-term consequences, listens to logic and to intuition, accepts mistakes and extracts lessons. If you do that, your decisions will slowly build a life that feels more intentional, less random. You will feel less like a passenger and more like a driver. The future you dream of is not created by one huge decision. It is created by many small, honest choices that respect your values and your growth. One clearer thought, one calmer decision, one lesson learned instead of repeated. That is how you make better decisions, and little by little, a better life.